Hello my lovelies. I'm making Spanish rice today. I've got some pinto beans cooked already in the refrigerator that I made a couple days ago, and you know how I do. I put them in the mason jars and I use them with other things. So I thought Spanish rice would go pretty well with the pinto beans. Only thing is I didn't have any bell peppers because I used them the other day. But if you want to add green, yellow, orange, red, whatever bell peppers to the ingredients that I show you, all the better. And I would if I had them on hand. But I'm not rushing out in snow to go and get that because yes, we had some beautiful days up in the 70s and now we're back to snow and 30 degrees. So Mrs. T is staying home because I don't drive on ice, okay? So what I've done to start with is I have one red onion sauteing, just water sauteing here in the Instant Pot. And see how I've used, let's see if I can turn that around a bit, that saute button. And if it's not too hot, I'll pull that out and show you. So I've just water sauteed them until they're nice and translucent. And by doing that in my Instant Pot, I've raised the temperature, which means that once I put all my ingredients in and hit that manual high pressure button, it will come to pressure a whole lot faster because it's got the temperature going. So that's a win-win if you're in a hurry. So remember that little tip. Even if you're not sauteing something in there, hit that saute button and let it start heating up your ingredients for a little bit before you high pressure. Okay, so I have the onion ready, and I'm going to add just a little bit more water while we talk about the other ingredients because I don't want that to burn. I'm going to go ahead and actually turn that off so that it won't continue to cook those onions. Okay, excuse me. So I have got some. So that's a red onion, and remember I like to cook with colors, and since I don't have any bell pepper, I'm going to be adding several things that are green. And I have got some green onions, and I like to just tip off any brown stuff and go all the way down. And what I do, and I'll show you this, if you watch my other videos, you've probably seen this before, but if you haven't, I'll show you again. I like to take those tips with their little roots, and I have these beautiful little vintage cups, and these are berry bowls, and I put them in there in just enough water to cover those roots, and you can see I just regrow them. When they get about this size, I put them out in the front yard. And then I will grow them all season long and just cut off the green part and bring them in and put it in my recipes. Since it's snowing out right now, I'm not going to put them in the garden yet. I might put them in the greenhouse in some soil because I really need to do that. If you let them go too long here in the water, they'll just start to wilt and rot away. So you want to be sure and get those in the soil before they get too big. So I've cut that off. I've cut off any brown stuff, and then I'm just going to take these just like I would my chives, which I've got some chives here too, and I'm just going to put those in. Got my kitchen shears that I only use for my herbs. Notice I say herbs because my husband would get me if I said herbs. It's just not done. He'd call me a bloody peasant. There we go. Get those down. My husband loves green onions, so we have them quite often. And that's another reason why I like to regrow them, is because we do have them quite often. And then I've got some wild chives from my front garden that I just went out and cut. So we've got 3 different types of onion flavors going on here. Can you tell we like onion? But it's really healthy too. especially this time of year when it's supposed to be spring, but Mother Nature and Miss Winter has not agreed to give it up. So it's really easy to get sick with the changing of the temperatures being so drastic like we've just had. So a lot of onion and garlic kind of helps us along in that. There we go. And since, again, I don't have any bell peppers, I'm also going to be using a cup of spinach that I've just chopped up real fine. And that'll give me lots of green in the dish. Okay. Now I'm using a can of whole corn. And if you've got frozen and that's what you prefer to use, go ahead and use that. And I'm not even draining the water, I'm just sticking that all in there. Because this is rice, the more water you have, the more it's supposed to leach out the arsenic from the rice. So remember that. It's okay to have a little extra water in your rice. And then I have got a can of the fire roasted diced tomatoes. And I really like that fire roasted flavor. And this is a can of organic tomato paste. I'm just going to put all that in there as well. And notice I'm just throwing all these cans in my sink so that later I can rinse them out and put them in the recycling. Because we are a recycling house here. Give that a good stir and stir up all that tomato sauce into the other ingredients. That's one thing about the Instant Pot. I feel you really have to stir things up because it will kind of cook exactly where you leave it. So if you put spices on top, those spices stay on top and they don't incorporate down into the food as it cooks. So bear that in mind if you're new to the Instant Pot. And then I have just a myriad of spices here. And let me get some measures so that we can add this. Now this is going to be salt, oil, and sugar free. So this is an SOS recipe. And I've got some chili powder. And that's a brand new one, so I've got to open it up. And I'm going to put a full tablespoon of chili powder. Now you don't have to use the same amount of spices I do. You can vary that. Paprika. And I'm using basically the average Mexican spices. And then I've got garlic powder. If you've got some fresh garlic, go ahead and put that in too. I haven't got any on hand today. And then I've got ground cumin. Notice I'm not real precise. Never have been. Then I've got some crushed red pepper. And we don't like things real spicy. Well, my son does, but my daughter doesn't. So I'm just using a little pinch, and that is, let's measure it for you. That's 1/4 teaspoon. Now if you like things spicy, add more. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we've got some oregano. And believe it or not, I know people think of oregano with Italian, but it's used in a lot of Mexican spices. In fact, there's an actual Mexican oregano version, which, of course, I don't know what this is. It's just cheap. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of the oregano. Okay, I've got all my spices in. Now I'm going to give this a really good stir and get all the spices incorporated into the sauce down here. Now, I'm going to be serving this alongside my pinto beans. So I've got veggies, rice, beans, and corn, all in one meal. Won't Dr. McDougall be proud? And then I've got 2 cups, and this is just a jasmine basmati white rice. Okay, and then because I've got 2 cups, I'm going to put 2 cups of water. Now I've got a little more liquid because of all the liquid in the tomatoes and all of that. And that's fine. It's going to turn out just perfect. You watch and see. And I'm giving it a really good stir. Now, if you want to use brown rice, you can. Bear in mind, if you use brown rice, you have to set this to high pressure to cook for 20 minutes. Whereas because I'm using white rice, I only have to do 4 minutes. My family just really likes white rice best, but I do use brown occasionally. However, when I sent my husband to the store to pick up some rice, he got a great big bag instead of a little bag. So I'm using quite a lot of white rice. So I've got this all set. Whoops, I should have left that around for you so you could see it. And then I'm going to hit manual, and I'm going to take my time down to 4 minutes. Now again, if you're using brown rice, set that at 20. If you don't have an Instant Pot, you can do this in a rice cooker or a slow cooker or on the stove, however you want to do it. And you'll have to just set the time accordingly, okay? I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. All right, would you like to see what we've got here? Let me just dig some out so you can see it. Slap it all over the side, you know, because that's how I do it. There you are. Spanish rice. Have a good day, guys. If you like the videos, like them, share them with your friends. We all need these recipes. And tick that little bell so you'll be notified when I put out another video. Have a good night.